If you remember from the home tour video, I said that we needed to get the flooring. It was one of the first things that needs to get done. This upstairs flooring is not what we expected. I'll get back to that. But the downstairs is actually lovely. It is in such better shape than I thought it was going to be. I'm just thrilled. Um, I have tons of help this week. So my brother, my stepdad, my father-in-law, that's Lucas pulling staples. He did that for about 5 minutes, but then he proceeded to tell everyone he did most of the work. So the garage is full of carpet, obviously. My sister and her family came to help out. She got all of the wallpaper off the walls, which was incredible. I wasn't expecting to get that done for a while, but so that turned out great. And then, with pulling tack strips and all of that, I didn't film all that because I know you guys just watched me do that with the weekend house. So I was like, let's not do that again. So, anyways, I'm just going through and filling all the holes. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to sand back all of this finish because while I do think the floors are beautiful, I do not want them to be that orange. I ended up renting this sander from Home Depot. I don't know if it goes with every store, but the first day I got this for 24 hours and it was doing nothing but leaving dust all over the floor. They're not supposed to do that. These machines are supposed to be very efficient at dust collection. And it was just layers and layers of dust all over the floor. So that was a whole ordeal. I ended up taking it back and getting another one and saying, hey, this is not right. And they're like, oh, we didn't give you the skirt. We usually don't because people don't return them. So make sure it comes with a skirt. That's the random orbital, by the way. It's not the super, super heavy duty one that takes the wood down a bunch. This is a random orbital, so you kind of have a little more leeway in what direction you're going with the wood. For my final passes, I always made sure I went with the direction, but it doesn't matter too terribly much. And then I just wanted to see if I could get my Festool to work around the edges so I didn't have to get the edge sander. It totally did. The guy at Home Depot told me I wouldn't need an edge sander because that sander is square, so it goes right up. No, it does not. So you do still need an edge sander unless you have a great hand sander, which this one is. You guys know I rave about it, and I've been using it for hours a day, and it still doesn't get hot. It is the most brilliant little machine. Highly recommend. So I was just testing this out because you can see a lot of dents and everything in the wood right there. I just wanted to make sure I could get all that out. I don't need these to be perfect. I actually think they're quite charming with a little bit of life in them, but that's too much. Here I just am going around pulling up all the trim pieces. I've already got the front piece off. It was fairly easy, but these little tiny trim pieces were pretty fragile, so I was taking my time. I just want to do a shout out to this tiny cat's paw. It is amazing. I got a pack of 3. They're like the miniest of crowbars, and I used it more than any of the larger ones. Now this one can't pull out giant nails. It has too much flex to it, but it is perfect for getting under teeny tiny staples and little tiny edges. Man, I used it so much, even if it was just to pry something up to put one of the bigger ones in there. Highly recommend that little tiny guy. Yeah, you can see all the damage on the wood, and I told you there's a mold issue here. We have a remediation company coming to get that handled. But so you just find it kind of all over the place, even though these are brand new windows. So there's that. So this is absolutely the most vacuuming slash sanding I have ever done in my life. Probably not all put together because I've done some really, really awful furniture pieces, but definitely the most sanding I've done in consecutive days. This section here was the absolute worst. The linoleum that was right here had to be chiseled up. It would not release. And then there was tons of glue down there that took forever to come off. 3 different people helped getting that up. This is what it looks like after the 60 grit. Next we're going on to 80. 60 grit down, 80 to go. Okay, I just pulled off the giant grate. Don't mind these things. The baby tried to walk over the top of them, so they're damaged. He was not. I was wondering what was going on with this wood over here. And they did it over here, and I had already fixed that one, but I didn't realize they drove these screws up and popped the wood out. So I'm gonna have to take those out, re-drill, and this actually needs to come down too. It's proud by a lot of that surface, so I'm gonna need to do that. All right, so I got enough screws out that I could drop this down, and now I can just put them back in, and this will sit below the surface, which means I'll be able to sand this. I have to repair these two pieces, but it should be good. And then of course I'm going to be getting a new grate because the one that we have, which is right there, it's one, hideous, because this is a huge thing in the middle of our floor, which is awful. But I'm going to get a cool cast iron one, so at least it's not terrible to look at. All right, that is the first week done. So I've got trim off on that so I can start sanding it. Since the floors are done with the big sander, I still have to go around and grab a little bit more around the edges with the Festool. It looks like there's still baseboard up. It's because it also has shoe molding that goes around, so we just took off the shoe molding and that will go back on, so we don't have to remove all those baseboards. Let's see. Don't mind the echoiness because there's no carpet or anything in here. Anyways, this I'll start fixing. I just put the grate down so that nobody would fall through, but I have to re-drill in the screws for this. Nothing much has happened with the kitchen. That's gonna start this week. It's just a mess because it's kind of the catch-all place. So it's just a little crazy. There's the other room. Again, just sanded with the big sander, still have to do the edges. You can see they're a little bit darker. We have all the wallpaper down, and then of course, all of the wooden base taken off. I'm going to put up picture frame molding, at least that's the plan, so I'm not worried about the walls or anything down here because they're just gonna be covered again. We took out these shelves in this closet because it's going to be a closet again. So that part's done. Same with this room, all the shoe molding is off, but the regular baseboards are up, so those are gonna stay. We obviously couldn't do that in here. This will get a whole entire new set of moldings because it was different and it had the regular wooden trim at the bottom. And now for upstairs. So for the stairs, we got all the carpet pulled. The vast majority of all the stables are out. I'm sure I will find them for the rest of my life. But for now, this is really good. It's just gonna get a scuff sand and a paint because there's no way for me to transition from tile to, we're gonna do the snap together up top. And then I had tons of help from my family. They scraped all the floors because this had the sticky foam from the carpet stuck to these, which was just so weird. So that's all done. Sorry, there's no lights up here. That room back there, it's blocked off right now because they were getting in access to the attic. So when we got the house, I don't remember if I said this or not, it had mold in the attic, so we have remediation people coming out. So we had to clear out everything in the attic. So they cleared out all the insulation, everything.
and all the old, they had tons and tons of stuff just stored up there, the last owners. So all that got pulled out and we've had to do several dump runs. So that's all cleaned out, but I'm not gonna open it because, like I said, there's mold in there. They have fans going to help dry it out. The boys are playing in here. No. So yeah, this floor was already scraped up. I'll just give it a good clean and then we can lay down the laminate. Everything is, this room, as Lucas says, is obviously going to be painted, but we're doing good. So anyways, I'm going to get back to work, and that is week 1 of our new home.